Hey guys, it's Benedictines the Vegan. Today I'm gonna be reacting to some of the things that Jordan Peterson said about the woke culture. One thing that I've noticed about him is that he's right about a lot of things that he usually talks about. But when it comes to the woke stuff, he's always been wrong. I don't know why. He's always been wrong and he's always been emotional when it comes to this stuff. I don't know why. It's really crazy how illogical he becomes when he talks about this kind of stuff, while he's one of the most logical people that I've ever heard in my life.
Incoming freshmen next year, University of Toronto, Stanford University, 18-year-old kids. Coming into this, we've been through 3 years of COVID. I won't rehearse it all. One sentence. What would you say to them as they begin university at the age of 18 or 19? What's the restorative, the redemptive sentence? What should they do?
Don't be thinking your ambition is corrupt.
Don't be thinking your ambition is corrupt. There's a problem with this statement, because if your ambition is corrupt and you're telling yourself that your ambition is not corrupt, then there's going to be problems. A lot of people who have caused a lot of suffering in this world never really judged themselves. They never really tried to question their own agendas. They just did whatever they felt like they needed to do, or whatever they felt like they wanted to do. So it's very dangerous to not question your own ambition.
You know, because that's part of the message now. Human beings, we're a cancer on the planet. We're headed for an environmental apocalypse. The entire historical structure is nothing but atrocity, etc., etc. Anyone with any ethical aim whatsoever is just going to pull back. You don't want to manifest any ambition, support the patriarchal structure, exploit the environment. You got to crush yourself down. You shouldn't even have any children.
But we're a cancer. We're a cancer. That's something that we all should realize now. We're always doing things that are destroying the environment. Other animals seem to really blend in very well with the environment. They seem to do things that are contributing in a way that is positive to the environment around them. We always destroying the environment around us. So yes, we are a cancer to this planet. Our history is total garbage. We've been through a lot as a society, and we still seem as if we haven't learned anything. So yeah, we are suffering a lot now because of the decisions that we've made in the past. That is very, very true. So it's very important to question our own ambition, so that if there's something wrong, we can fix it.
It's like, no, there's no excuse for that. There's zero excuse for that. I saw a professor at an event, something like this. He came out and trumpeted this bloody environmentally friendly house he built. And, you know, fair enough, man. It was a pretty interesting house, but not everybody had the $4 million that it took him to build it. And I'm not criticizing his money even. It's like, he's had some money. Good for him. He built a house. Okay. But then to trumpet that as a moral virtue, well, you're pushing it there. And then he came out to all the kids and he said, you know, my wife and I decided that we were only going to have one child. And I think that's one of the most ethical things we could have possibly done. And I would strongly encourage you to do the same. I thought, you son of a bitch.
Okay, you know what he's doing here? He's saying something that is right, but making it sound wrong. That's like me saying, what my friend says is that I want to focus on myself now. I want to do my own thing now. I don't want to let other people affect me in a way that is negative now. You know, I'm making it sound as if what I'm saying is wrong, or what my friend said is wrong, even though it's not wrong. So that's what Jordan Peterson is doing right now. He's making it sound as if what the guy was saying is wrong, but what the guy was saying is actually right. You know, we must actually really think deeply about the decisions that we are going to make now as a collective. It's very important for young children to really realize what's going on in the world now. And having people like this guy, the guy that you're talking about, tell them that no, actually, it's best to reproduce less. It's actually a good thing. That's like if someone from the future came back to the present and told us that, yo, we've got to stop doing 1, 2, 3 because if we don't, then it's going to affect us in a negative way in the future. That would be a good thing. This guy is old. He's rich. He has seen a lot. He's obviously intelligent because he's a professor. But Jordan Peterson feels like he's wrong for some reason for saying that people should reproduce less. But look at our world today. There's too many people, bruh. The reason why a lot of people do not have employment is because there's too many people. If we keep on reproducing at the rate that we're reproducing now, what do you think is going to happen in 20 years from now? We're going to have a lot of children who don't know what they're supposed to do. A lot of children are going to feel lost because we are not going to be able to accommodate them. A lot of young people are not going to be working because there isn't enough employment. So it's very important to really consider all these things before reproducing. The guy was absolutely right. I don't know why Jordan Peterson feels like the guy was wrong. It's crazy.
You get up in front of these young people. A lot of these kids were children of first-generation immigrants from China. And he showed all these images, of these terrible factories in China, these endless rows of sterile mechanism that were subordinating all the Chinese people to this terrible, capitalist machine. And I thought, you don't understand. Half the audience is looking at those factories and thinking, that's a hell of a lot better than struggling through the mud under Mao, buddy.
Well, that's true. That's true. But that doesn't mean that that guy was wrong. It doesn't mean that the professor was wrong. Because he's actually showing us some of the things that are terrible about our society. And what Jordan Peterson is saying, that some of the things that he thinks are terrible, these people don't think those things are terrible because they are in situations that are worse than that. So that proves the professor right, because he's basically saying, no, actually what we are doing is causing a lot of suffering. A lot of people are suffering. And Jordan Peterson is saying, well, what you call suffering is not suffering because there is something worse than that. So he's actually proving the professor right.
And so, I don't know where he thought he was, but to come out in front of all those kids and basically tell them that the whole human enterprise is so goddamn corrupt that the best thing they could possibly do is limit their multiplication, and to think of himself as a scholar and an educator was just, I did say something, by the way. It was rather uncomfortable, and he stomped off the stage. But that's no message for young people. There's no excuse for that. And you think, well, we're going to destroy the planet. We have to do this. We have to demoralize the youth to be ethical. It's like, yeah, really, that's your theory? You're going to demoralize young people to be ethical? That's your theory? It's like, you should go home and think about that for like a year. And I'm passionate about this, because...
Here's the thing. Jordan Peterson is not even coming up with any logical argument against what the guy said. He's just mentioning what the guy said and speaking about it as if he doesn't like it. That's it. He's not making any logical argument against what the guy said. And everything that the guy said is true, really. That actually we can't keep on reproducing if the world is like this. We can see all the things that are happening, all the negative things that are happening. Why do we keep on reproducing? Kids need to be taught that, no, actually, you need to think, all right? You need to think before you bring another person here. That is very, very important, because if we do not think, there's going to be more suffering. You know, the next generation will have to endure more suffering than we had to endure, because we are not teaching them to think. We're not teaching them to be conscious. We're just teaching them to follow their ambition, as if our ambition as a species has always been good. We are where we are today because we've been following our ambition. It's time for us to be woke and see things as they really are. Let's see if we really do things from the highest perspective, if we're still going to end up where we are today. Jordan Peterson doesn't want that. I don't know why. It's crazy.
You have no idea how many people that's killing. You have no idea. I see people everywhere, all over the world. They're so demoralized, especially young people with a conscience, because they've been told since they were little that there's nothing to them but corruption and power. It's like, how the hell do you expect them to react? You know, well, I shouldn't do anything then, you know.
Dr. Jordan Peterson.
I don't know why he speaks with so much passion when it comes to this, while he's not saying things that are actually true. He does this all the time. Here's the thing, we shouldn't be telling young people to do things that are wrong because the world is messed up, you know. But telling them how corrupt we are as humans is not a bad thing. You know, it's very good to tell them that actually human beings are flawed in this way and that way. And let's try to work on this in order to improve. You know, we are where we are today because we have not done enough work to improve. That is very, very important. You know, that's not destroying our hope. That's not making people lose their enthusiasm. You know, it's just making them aware of the things that they're doing wrong, which is a good thing. We need to all introspect. It's very, very important. We can't just do things without introspection because we're going to continue to fail. We cannot act as if we are not failing right now as a species. Many people are not happy. The most important thing will be happiness. You know, you cannot say that there's something more to life than happiness. No, the point of existence should be happiness. People must be happy. If people are being tortured, if people are really, really suffering and they're not enjoying the experience, then something is wrong. Even if we have all these things that we think mean something, even if we have all the things that we've achieved, if people are suffering, if people are not happy, then we're doing something wrong. And we need to introspect as a collective. We need to ask ourselves, what are the things that we're doing wrong? And what can we do to make things right? What can we do to improve? You know, that's very, very important. It seems to me that Jordan Peterson is against that somehow. Well, people must just continue to reproduce. People must follow their ambitions, even if they're wrong. People shouldn't be told if they're wrong. There's something wrong with that. People need to be told when they're wrong. People who are older have made a lot of mistakes. It's important for them to tell us the mistakes that they've made so that we can do better than them. You know, if they're not telling us anything because, you know, it's not going to make us feel ambitious anymore. It's not going to make us feel motivated anymore. Then we're not going to improve. We're just going to continue to destroy ourselves. We're just going to continue to create suffering, which is completely illogical. We need to be trying our best to eliminate suffering. That is the first thing that we must be trying to do as a collective. Make sure that people who are here are happy. We shouldn't be making people feel like they are slaves. We shouldn't be making people feel like they are not at home here. We shouldn't be making people feel like they don't want to be part of this experience anymore because we're not conscious enough to see the problems that a lot of people are going through. So yeah, I mean, Jordan Peterson is wrong when it comes to the woke stuff. You know, people really need to be told the truth. People need to be made aware of the things that are happening in our society. That's the only way that we can evolve. You know, that's the only way that we can do better. Thank you all, guys. Like the video and subscribe. Peace.